Occupy Wall Street movement started off as a protest movement against corporate power. As it evolved across the nation, clashes between the protesters and police started to highlight a different issue altogether: the schism between cops and the communities they serve to protect. However, amidst this struggle, one man has stood out to bridge the gap between us and them. Retired Philadelphia police captain Ray Lewis decided to make a bold statement. He wore his police uniform while protesting with Occupy Wall Street at Zuccotti Park. Along with 250 other protesters, Lewis was arrested on November 17th's Day of Action. He became a national icon, shattering the image of the police as the enemy. But at the same time, he encountered serious backlash. Even though he served 24 loyal years on the force, he was permanently expelled and stripped of his union benefits. Now, you do have to do a lot to be booted from the Fraternal Order of Police, but apparently expressing your First Amendment rights while in uniform crossed that line. While Captain Lewis may have lost his benefits, some may say he gave a much-needed credibility to a movement that was painted by the media as a bunch of so-called hippies. And through it all, he's still protesting in uniform to this very day. While Ray Lewis himself joins us from our New York studio to talk about his personal trials, as well as the Occupy movement's triumphs. Thanks for joining us, Ray. Ray, when you went out there with your uniform on, did you have any idea the firestorm that would be rained on you for doing this?
Abby, thanks for having me, first of all. And yes, I was prepared for that, and I realized it was going to happen, and I went ahead with it anyway. But let me make one correction. I think
Sure.
You said I was expelled from my union, and that that has not been decided yet. But that decision will be made shortly, whether to expel me or not.
All right, well, thank you for that clarification. I wanted to just mention, you ask multiple rhetorical questions in your whole legal proceedings. One is which, why do you think they went through such great lengths to stifle your First Amendment when they knew that there was no legal precedent to do so?
Abby, that's the most important question about my whole participation in this movement. Why did they go to such great lengths? And it is my belief that they were pressured by corporate America, because the one sign I carry on a daily basis is to ask people to watch the documentary Inside Job. Inside Job is a scathing, indicting film of banks specifically in the 2008 financial collapse. And anybody who watches that documentary will fully understand the corruption of our banks in this country.
Ray, what corporate interests do you think facilitated this backfire against you for just practicing your First Amendment?
Well, in Philadelphia, the Fraternal Order of Police, a lot of cops want to be the president of that union. And they have elections. And these elections are run just like any other political election. They're based on money. A lot of advertising goes into these elections, and those cops don't pay for that advertising out of their back pockets. This advertising is paid for by corporations, banks, financial institutions. Subsequently, when you're elected, you are beholden to those financial institutions. And when I come out condemning these financial institutions, if the president of the FOP wants to get continuing contributions, he better pay heed to the banks.
Ray, were you surprised? I know that you said you were expecting to encounter this on a small scale, but I mean, were you surprised that the very thing you were protesting about happened to you on a micro level, where you saw this complete unaccountability and, in your own force? I mean, the thing that you were out there protesting about happened to you in your own community. Yes,
Abby, I was taken aback a little by that, especially when I got the envelope with the letter from the Fraternal Order of Police. While opening it, I naively was thinking they're going to say, "Brother Lewis, we support you 100%. Is there anything we can do?" Instead, they threatened me with having a hearing, perhaps to expel me. So yes, I was surprised that they took that extent without even giving me the courtesy of a phone call and finding out exactly what I was doing, what I was about.
And Ray, you talk about, there's actually another gentleman in Philadelphia who does impersonate a police officer. I mean, they kept threatening you, intimidating you with saying that you were impersonating a police officer when you weren't. I mean, you served on the force, you're the captain, you served for 24 years, and they knew that there was no legal precedent to do so. But at the same time, there actually is someone who does impersonate a police officer and garners a weapon at that. Why do you think that they
Yes.
haven't come down on this person for that same charge?
Because if you read the information about that person has contributed quite a bit of money and police motorcycles to the police department. And that's how he got away with dressing in full police uniform, riding a police motorcycle, and illegally carrying a Glock that he did not have a permit for. And when the police commissioner of Margate, New Jersey, where this event took place, was asked, well, why did not you arrest him for carrying this illegal weapon? The police commissioner's response was, because I did not want to embarrass him.
Wow, and yet they have no problem apparently trying to embarrass, intimidate, and threaten you for simply practicing your First Amendment. Ray, I wanted you to talk more about the chilling effect that this does. I mean, do you think that this is just a message being sent out to all police, really, and just saying, look, this is what can happen to you if you choose to go out and protest against corporate interests or whoever's really pulling the strings in public?
Oh, absolutely. It's a chilling message, and it's done on purpose. This is not by accident. They want to make sure no other officers join me in promoting this Occupy movement. The other thing is, when they come out saying what I'm doing is illegal or improper and give me an order to immediately cease and desist wearing my uniform, and they will take any and all necessary action to stop me. What's so egregious about this is it sends the message to officers that they can violate people's First Amendment rights. Because after I got that letter from the Philadelphia Police Commissioner ordering me to stop, I went down and I protested in uniform outside of the City Hall of Philadelphia. A reporter, seeing me protesting in uniform, having the threatening letter the police commissioner wrote me, approached the police commissioner. And through his spokesman, he said, after I called his bluff, he said, we have decided to take a hands-off approach to the Lewis controversy. But this was after he had ordered me to stop and after he threatened me.
Yeah, it took him months to finally admit that there was really nothing you can do, right? And I wanted to touch really quickly upon how other police officers, even serving jail sentences, have still received their pensions. And it's just incredible what has happened to you as a result of this. Ray, where do you see this going, the whole Occupy Wall Street movement? And you've really served as a symbol to bring, the mainstream media tried to marginalize this movement, and you've really served as a symbol to say, hey, this is everyone, and the police are 99% too. We're all part of this fight against corporate greed. If you could just talk a little bit about where you see the movement going and how you really served as the transitional role for that.
Abby, I don't really look as to where the movement is going. I have no expectations. I don't even want to spend my time doing that because it's not going to do any good wondering where's it going to go. I'd rather spend my time and my positive energy on determining what path I can take, what can I do to further the goals of the movement.
Well, thank you for your sacrifice. Obviously, you knew that you would have to make one, and you're definitely fighting an uphill battle. And it is really important that you're out there, Ray, and thank you for standing strong on that. We'll be following the case.
Abby, thanks for having me.
That was retired Philadelphia Police Captain Ray Lewis.